nice little maneuver from Resonant. I think this is shaping up to be a pretty scary little push. If he can deny this third, I would say damage done, and that could be you call it good enough at this point. But you see FluxAction make this is, I think, great reaction. Pull those SCVs, get these guys out of the way, save it for another day. He knows that his opponent is still on just those 2 bases, and there's no sense in losing any SCVs and an orbital command here.
This is great.
He's making an error.
Oh wow, he's moving those SCVs over. It would have been great if he had maybe moved out his units with it, but no, he just decides to turn to move the SCVs over. Probably did the idle thing. Sieging up, FluxAction does have +1, whereas Resonant does not, so he will have the positional advantage as well as the upgrade advantage. Do Marines have Combat Shield yet? Do they? No, still no Combat Shield for Marines. I think that's a huge blunder at this point in time. You need Combat Shield as soon as possible after Stim.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing for him is these Marauders should be able to clean these tanks out here fairly quickly, and he's got a lot of heal on this army. I don't know, that tank did a lot of damage, man. He should have focused that tank down, I think, a little bit faster.
Yeah, medevac is very, very weak, very low on energy as well. And there's a lot of medevacs out for FluxAction. If he can get his units in a good position where those medevacs can just consistently heal, that lone tank is just doing so much damage. And good idea to drop it right there. Really smart decision.
Yeah.
And wow, FluxAction is just going to say GG right there.
Yep. I mean, a phenomenal game. It definitely going to be missing FluxAction in the remainder of this tournament. But I mean, grats to Resonant. Really, really strong play there, even especially considering those early mistakes that he made. And he came back in a very big way there, I thought.
Yeah, and I think the whole reason that FluxAction lost that game was not that he was too greedy, he just wasn't positionally aware of what his opponent was doing. You always need to be not so much, scouting his opponent, but have an idea of what he's going to be doing. If he has tanks, you can assume that he's going to try and siege up in that little area between your natural, your main and your third. You have to assume that's going to come eventually, and you have to plan for it. Whether that's having a drop going on in his main, I think a drop at that point would have really maybe forced him to fall back because he was just rallying all his units over.
Right.
You kind of have to think of not the next step, then your next step, but the next step after the next step, because that is where you need to catch him off guard. Because right now you're not going to beat him right here, and you're not going to beat him on the next step. You need to be at that step ahead of him.
Right.
And that is where you're going to come back and get either reclaim map control or wipe out the force that's trying to push its way through your natural or something like that.
Such a great point. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt-tab, always on StarCraft. We'll be in our next game here momentarily. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We do have live tournament action coming at you right now. It's going to be on GSL's Antigua. We have got Windy on the line with us today. He's going to be my co-caster. Windy, how you doing, brother?
Excellent, man. So happy to be here at the second game right now.
Me too, sir. Me too. So, I mean, so far this has been a phenomenal tournament. Number one, we've had really, really great players come out. We've seen some pretty good action, and here we are in another TvT. And yeah, I'm gonna be
actually, as I was loading up, I was going to ask you, is it GSL cross only? And I'm still not entirely sure. Given it is okay,
absolutely is. And in fact, I cast a game last night where just knowing that it was cross positions would have saved the player of the game, because he ended up scouting both of the side locations first with overlords and ended up losing the game because he didn't get a good scout on his opponent.
Worth noting.
It is, and it's so interesting to me that those little things about just knowing your maps, that little bit of research can really come into play.
Yeah. I think it probably most famously started with the whole is this cross position only? Is it MLT Province where Naniwal kind of made a big fuss about it. I was actually there, so I saw from the outside and everything that went down that you couldn't see on the stream, and everything Naniwal said that you would see on this overhead cam. And it really didn't start until about then that players really started questioning map positions all the time. And I don't know if this is something I have noticed on my own, but it's pretty much every map. Is this cross spawn only? Is this cross spawn only? Especially with Shattered Temple. And I know there are some instances of maps in tournament use that change things up for whatever reason. I know Nasal used a Metalopolis version with rocks at the gold.
Right. Yeah, and GSL refuses to use gold at all. And that's one thing. Another thing about this map is it does not have gold expansion.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I do like that because it's definitely on this map in any kind of Terran matchup so advantageous for Terran to take that gold, and it's so easy to do so because of planetary fortresses and siege tanks and everything like that. So I don't disagree with the idea of removing the golds when a Terran has the advantage to take it. I would say in a map like Shattered Temple, it's a little bit easier for other players to take the gold simply because it's in a position that's easily defendable.
Right. Yeah.
And you really don't need a planetary there for a turn to take it.
Yeah, it's really true. And another thing, about this map in general, when it's not forced cross-spawn positions, the one opponent will be expanding towards their opponent while the other player gets the luxury of expanding away from their opponent. And so that's why I think that on this map in particular, cross-spawn position is really important.
No, absolutely. Looks like FluxAction does have his SCV coming up to Resonance ramp, but Resonance going for Reapers. He's queuing up a second one, so it's definitely going to be that 3 Reaper open we saw in the last game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But this is FluxAction now just seeing the tech lab for the first time. I don't know if you noted the fact that the tech lab is not researching anything, and that Reapers will be coming out. Actually, that one comes out the front. Will the Reaper chase it down?
It looks like he will, man. I think he's doing exactly that. He's going to chase that guy down.
Yeah, and it looks like FluxAction has gone for a gas expand. This is what I am talking about, though. This is the same exact thing as the last game. Yeah. One player went gasless fast expand. Other player went that 3 Reaper opening with an expand. It's the same thing, but you can see right now, this is when it's going to be so drastically different.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I mean, this opener for Resonant should enable him to get this command center up safely, while Flux is really going to have to endure a little bit of a harassment here just to try and keep this this expansion up and running in the way that he wants.
Yep. Marines come over here to engage the Reaper.
Yeah, that was beautiful control on that Reaper.
Yeah, it's smart idea to put him in the bunker. They do get +1 range from that, so the Reaper is not going to really be able to pop up that on the ledge over there to really do much damage.
Right, and he's got these two Marines over here on the high ground in his main, blocking that little jump up spot there because they can't jump the high cliffs. They have to go step up onto this high ground there. But
yeah, they can only jump one height.
Right, one height at a time, and so smart play. I mean, great defensive posture here from Flux, and I think that all in all, I mean, he's got this orbital command, second orbital command up and running in pretty decent style. Notice that they're both tied; they're dead even on harvesters at this point, 21 to 21. So, I mean, this is shaping up to be a little bit more even than what we really saw in that last TvT, where we really saw quite a bit of swing in differences early on.
Oh yeah, and that's because the Reapers haven't done any significant damage. I think they've picked off one worker for their 3 Reapers. They're not being used cost effectively, and their cost is going to be lessened pretty quick. And what he should do is he does have vision from the high ground. He just should take off 2 Reapers and try to kill those Marines and leave one up there so that vision isn't lost.
Oh,
that's actually.
It's such a good point. I mean, it's little tricks like that can make a big difference. He could annihilate 2 Marines at a time that way.
Yeah, a 4th Reaper coming over. Is he making a 5th? No, so just these 4. I think 4 is I don't know, he may have gone with the 5. Reinforce has been moving out. His aim was moving them.
Okay, that was a sad story right there. You've heard people say cool story, bro?
Oh, yeah.
This is a sad story, bro type scenario.
Absolutely. This 4 Reapers on move command, bad. I think oh wow, he will sneak in. This is actually really, really bad. This 1 Reaper will go to town on these SCVs. There's one already in the red. So oh wow, he should really pick off the. Okay, he does get one.
He did get 1 kill. I mean that makes it, I guess, not quite as big of a loss, but that is still quite a early loss here for Resonant. I mean, just look at that. Looks like on the units lost tab, it's 450 resources for just the 1 worker kill at this point.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was the only worker he killed. I hadn't noticed that he didn't pick off that first SCV he was poking at. So
yeah, there was 2 of them actually, and he got him into the red, but wasn't able to pick up the kills. So I mean, he's trying. It was a try-hard situation, but wow, I mean, you got to give Flux a lot of credit for that defense. It's a really difficult defensive maneuver there.
Getting the bunker up just in time, though. Good timing out of Resonant, knowing that, oh man, I lost those 4 Reapers. I lost map control. I need to get up some kind of defensive posture that way. And see, this is a smart decision to make. These Marines don't have stim. They don't have combat shield. They might be able to just walk around. Ooh, they are. This is bad. Oh, but there's a lot of Marines.
That bunker placed over either 1 or 2 more squares.
And Resonant, he isn't reacting yet.
Yeah,
he's sending Mule into there. Okay, he does have enough Marines, and they do have combat shield. But those Marines did a decent amount of damage, killing off 5 workers altogether in that engagement.
Right. Yeah, and those are losses. I mean, he's really sustaining fairly heavy losses for considering that these are mistakes. Better reaction time, pulling those SCVs, that fixes that. Always A move. You're attacking units when they're in the center of the map, unless you're watching them extremely carefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's those small mistakes that are starting to add up here for Resonant. But I mean, all in all, he seems to be in okay position here. He's not terribly far behind the supply count. Units tab shows that he's a little bit behind there. in the, well, I mean, 10 SCVs behind is quite a bit.
That's
actually
significant, especially since that FluxAction has stim done. He does have +1, about 50% done, and he has medevacs on the way, whereas Resonant has siege tanks. Starport just going down now, so this is going to be this is where the game can really start to go into one player in favor and not the other. Resonant does have the superior marine count, 27 and 22, and he has combat shield, whereas opponent does not. But his medevacs are going to make a world of a difference, especially with stim in there.
Yeah. And here comes your engagement. Looks like FluxAction is getting the better of his opponent here for just a half a moment. Resonant just barely getting enough, I think, just barely.
Yeah, I learned something today. Marines with combat shield are better than stim Marines without combat shield and medevacs. I did not know that, and that is something worth noting, especially for all just players out there. Oh, I have 25 to his 20 Marines, but they have stim and medevacs. I can still win as long as I have combat shield and good positioning. That's amazing to note, because that's how games can play out sometimes.
Yeah, and the cool thing is he's sitting there behind that the gas shield there. But he has vision of that entire area with that Zelnaga tower, and that's always a good thing to note. But the coolest thing for FluxAction is he did secure a third behind this, so he's got his third orbital on the way right now. It appears to be
he's going to make a macro load.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly right, and he's still maintaining that +10 harvester lead right now, and that's really going to be adding up now that he's got 50% more mules available to him than his opponent does now.
Yeah, and that's going to start to kick in about maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Orbital's done. He does have, what's the SCV count look like? 51 to 41. Still not that far ahead on SCVs, but this Marine tank count coming up from Resonant is pretty significant. Oh, this could be really bad. He does have stim.
Yeah, but that tank was well positioned there.